Massacres and Frontier Wars, the hidden history of Australia's blood-stained soil. They called it settlement. But what happened across Australia in the 19th century was war. A war without formal declarations, a war without recognition, a war waged on rivers, in forests across plains, and in silence. The Frontier Wars spanned more than a century, from 1788 to the 1930s. Yet for generations they were left out of textbooks, denied by politicians, and buried beneath the myth of peaceful colonization. But the land remembers, and so do the descendants of those who survived. Across Australia, hundreds of massacres took place, methodical, targeted, and often carried out with the full knowledge of colonial authorities. These weren't skirmishes or misunderstandings. These were organized attempts to clear land by eliminating the people who lived on it. In Waterloo Creek in 1838, at least 40 Kamilaroi people were slaughtered by a mounted police party. The true number may have been over 100. In Mile Creek later that same year, 28 unarmed Wurrayare people, mostly women, children, and the elderly, were brutally murdered by settlers. It was one of the rare cases where the perpetrators were actually tried and convicted, not because the system worked, but because the evidence was impossible to ignore. The massacres stretched across every state: Convincing Ground, Slaughterhouse Creek, Pinjarra, Risdon Cove, Wannaminta Creek, Bathurst, Campaspe Plains. Each name is soaked in blood. In many places the killings were systematic. Settlers used poisoned flour. They encircled camps at night. They shot from horseback, ensuring few could escape. Women were raped. Children were not spared. These acts were not aberrations. They were the architecture of conquest. Silence was part of the plan. Local newspapers rarely reported the full truth. Governments turned a blind eye. And when stories were told, it was the Aboriginal people who were called aggressors. Defending their land made them criminals. But the resistance never died. From Jandamara in the Kimberley, who led a guerrilla campaign for years, to the many unnamed warriors who fought and died on their land, the spirit of defiance lived on, even as the odds grew impossible. And while the guns may have fallen silent by the early 20th century, the war was far from over. Because the next battle wasn't fought on battlefields. It was waged in policies and papers, in the forced removal of children, in homes, missions, and institutions that tore families apart. In the next section, we'll uncover the haunting legacy of the stolen generations, when governments took children from their families in a campaign to erase culture, identity, and connection.